All right, we're going to take a shot here. I'm going to take a shot with the platform here. Let's test it out a little. I'm going to put a long in here. I'll buy at the market. Actually, I'll buy at the market.
Order filled.
I'll probably get it at 44. Yeah, I'm at 44. And I'm going to look forward just to move up to about 45. We're going to return to the scene of the crime.
Order pending.
I'll manage my I'm going to manage my stop manual. You know, just kind of to feel this out. I'm going to have my finger on the button, and I can just close out at any time, or reverse.
Rambot 1 minute sell signal.
And this is not this would not be qualified as an HPS setup. I mean, I'm going against actually some things that I normally wouldn't do. Go up against the stochastics, which were overbought, the 20-period moving average. But this is, again, off of this pattern. It's called a fake news drop, and then a return to the scene of the crime. And again, it's not a scientific method here, because I don't know if that news was real or false. I didn't dig down into it and what caused it. I think it was something with Korea. That just shows you that the market is a little tense, and could be effective if there is any real news that hits. Netflix here popping back up here, looking pretty good. Here we go. What else here? Just also want to always take a look at the 5-minute, what we call the 5-minute cash chart, and I use that a lot. And we can see that the 5-minute here slightly turning back up. You know, here's your news. The drop got oversold, and now we're starting to actually the 5 minutes actually in the position we want it to be in. So I'm not stressing this at all. I mean, we at least to have that 5-minute on our side, and then we could actually start to identify a bigger pattern playing out. And you know, having this downward channel here in a perfect 1, 2, 3 channel, it came right down to that trend line. It tagged it to the penny, to the nickel, to the dime, and you can see that over here, the perfect trend line. It came down to it, tagged it, really proving that you know, the algorithms out there really moving this market around. So you just have to you know, figure out certain levels that they are looking at and take your trade around those, because that's where you're going to get a nice move up. Or, you know, and this is kind of a harder thing to do. I mean, you are in support, but if something triggers some news out there, that's, you know, it's manipulation. And most of these big spikes and stuff like it's manipulation. I mean, honestly, everyone should be arrested. Everyone. It's just see, this trade is just going nowhere, but it's going to go up. You know, the way the 5 minutes set up here on this, we might even get a break of this channel. The only thing I keep on throwing out there is that the news, you know, the French news is overnight on Sunday. So for any reason you happen to be getting this little video clip here of this trade, you know, I'll be on the air on Sunday evening, you know, covering some of the French election and how to
order filled.
There we are. We're out of it.
Hi, took alert.
Boom. Boom. Goes the dynamite. $50 right there. That's a $50 bill. But now all of a sudden, maybe it's some other news here coming out now. Let's see what we could actually pick up on. Is there any news out there? Trump says he will unveil the tax plan next week. Next week. Trump will unveil the tax plan next week. That includes... So market here. I would go long here.
Order
I'm just going to go
filled.
long here. This is pretty good news. Big. This was expected before. I'm letting this thing run. I'm letting this thing run right into the close. I should have bought more. I didn't even set up everything yet. Well, that was another fast point. I mean, we could have $200 right there. So Trump says he will unveil tax plan next week. That's crossing the wires right there. And yeah, I knew he was going to do something within the first 100 days. You know, that's the other thing. It's always about, it's always about this guy knowing what to do. He's playing on the media. He knows what people are looking for. He knows what the market's doing. He knows that how the market is a barometer of how he's doing. So, he watches CNBC more than I do. And they talk about his policies not, having trouble. So he's just getting this thing done, and he's going to watch the market pop, and the approval rating's going to go up, and he's going to say whatever. We don't even know how this is going to turn out, but this is definitely bullish. This is the first little wave of buying here on that news. I would expect a second wave of buying to come in here. And what time is 2 o'clock? I mean, we still have the French elections overhanging us. But I think this is a big surprise, tax plan. Now, the tax plan has already been discussed a lot, so they know what, there's already a bar that needs to be beat on the tax plan, and who's going to get, and everyone's saying what it is already. So if it's anything different or less than expected, boy, that might hurt the market also too. But that's going to be next week. We have plenty of things to look forward to now. But watch this. A little consolidation here. I will continue to watch for a pop here. Oh, please. Let's see what we got here right in those. Pixie post. That's nice. So market here kind of flagging out. We're getting ready. We're in. And we're moving up here. We've just already taken a trade back here, and we got that big pop, and then we took it off. And then I got back in here, noticed in the news. And like I said, I think this is just a little pause, and then we're going to just start to rip here. Tax plan coming up. Why not? Let's get this market going into positive territory. Let's go. We look for 4 points right now. So again, you can see the profit loss up on the top here. Just on this trade. We made $50 that last trade. Twitter here pushing higher. I wonder if the new tax plan involves Twitter. Twitter moving up on volume. moving up on volume on here. Watch. Let's take a look at this on Twitter on the move here. All right, this is still a very bullish flag. A couple of different type of flags you could see, and this is actually still a very bullish flag, a rising flag like this. It's a good flag, very strong flag, breaking out to the upside here. All right, we'll continue to watch this here. Let this, again, I think we get 4 points on this. Before the end of the day, if we just sit tight. Goldman Sachs here pop in, American Express pop in, Twitter here again at the highs. We'll take a look at some of the stocks I'm holding right now. This was going to be part of the HPS watch list. I don't know.
Rambot 1 minute sell signal.
Google it was going to be the next stock we're going to be looking at here. Google. But let's just actually take a look at the APD. That's still one of the best bets for next week. The Advanced Auto Parts. I want to show you that chart coming up now. And Google, love to Google. This looks excellent. We'll talk more about that in a second. Now we're kind of embedded. We're getting a rotation on the slow.
Rambot 3 minute sell signal.
We got a little 3 minute sell signal. Now the Rambot signal, as you heard right there. As you see the profits here disappear on that trade real fast in the Rambot. Well, you still take it off with a profit. Now, again, this is a major thing between being a successful trader and someone who gives back their gains. What I said before is, this is we have to let this thing go. Donald Trump, there's a news event, and whenever there's news, we actually. We stopped paying attention to what got us here. The divergences, the setups, the rotations. The rotations are so important. When you get overbought from your beginning trade into your overbought trade, it could give you a point. It could give you 4 points in some cases, but you have to take it off to keep that. To keep all the analytics in line and stuff. You have to take all those trades, to prove that the methodology is sound and it works more than it doesn't. It makes you money. So when you have a 3 minute sell divergence, that's a 3 minute sell divergence. You could think otherwise, say, well, that's just a short term, and it gets a little complicated there. You have to deal with that yourself. There's news out here. You might want to go long, shut the computer down, wake up Monday, and see where it goes. And then you have to deal with it, or you're micro trading this. And if you are, it's like, oh my God, it went down a point. He said it was going to rally. I said, we have to be very careful about micromanaging positions like this. They'll drive you crazy. There is news out there. This is the bullish pattern, but try not to get too concerned because we're looking at a longer term trade. We're not looking at the 1 minute time frame right now. We're looking at a news event. We're looking at maybe the possibility of that 5 minute rotation, which is still fine, and a breakout. Then we have a breakout of the trend line, which we did do as expected. This was a 1, 2, 3 pattern. I mean, what a powerful pattern that is. And big pop, possible news. Now, what happens if they come out and say this is someone, this is not real news, then, well, it goes right back down. But I just got a message from someone I follow when we talk about dark pools and stuff, and I'll try to bring this chart up over here. It's an excellent chart. I want to get these guys on the radio here, promote their product here, but they have a good, tracks dark pool buying and selling. Someone always knows that first big buy program identified by the red flip-colored price bar on accumulator. There's an accumulator and stuff. You can actually start to see some of the stuff. Someone knew that advanced the Trump statement, so there was some buying beforehand. Algo's bought. News on the Trump plan. So that's interesting. Well, anyway, let me bring this back over here. This is where we are right now. We're in the middle of a trade, and I'm not that concerned with it. I like the news. I like to see a rally into the news at the end of the day. So we're letting this play out a little. It could be a little dangerous, but that's what we are. Johnny Dangerously. All right. Excuse my cough here. Chewing on some ice. See what we have here? We have kind of an embedded stochastic to slow stochastic, salmon-colored stochastics on the bottom here. Also up on this the Ninja chart here. Look at how nice this registers above 80. And look at the fast rotation. And where's the price? Above the 20-period moving average. Absolutely, by far, this is a great sub as a good flag. Actually, can buy another one here. I'm not going to... I'm going to let it go, but I want to show you that we're going to pop right now. Based off of this is what we call a triple stochastic flag setup. You know, it's like watching, you're out on a safari, and all of a sudden the big white rhino has the approach, and you see it. First time, hasn't been seen in 40 years. And this is what we tracked it right to here, and it's telling us, hey, this is the white rhino. Watch for the pop here. Everything here point. Now, one thing we should say here is look at how we're holding above that 20 line. Remember our criteria. It has to be above 80. The fast has to be down below 20. Now, this is very tough to get that setup. I think, you know, this works too. You know, I think I always say around 20. 25. I've seen times before where we looked like we had a divergence and it hung above 20 and it just didn't work out, or a flag. And I was like, well, I wonder if that 20 really played a big part here. But the fact is probably not. I mean, this still looks good. And we're still actually above that 20-period moving average. So we could actually move down there, get this down underneath that. It would still, and it almost feels like it's going to do that. There it is. Boom. Now we're under 20. And we're holding above 80. So now we have the official HPS setup there. Right now. So we're watching it. My mouse is right on it right there. The price is right on it too. So if you entered this, which you have no idea that I'm in this, but you would be in right here also. So this is not a bad trade opportunity here. I might actually go in a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, the triple stochastic flag setup. Thank you very much. I am still working on this right now. I wanted to show you another chart as this continues to play out. Now let's remember that was a 9-3 setup. The 14-3 didn't get down there, but the 9-3 did. So we took it on the 9-3, which I'm fine with. All right, going to bring up another a chart here. We mentioned a couple other ones. Well, the APD here looking really good. The AAP got out of it this week for a loss, and I probably marked the bottom on that. I was looking really for a candlestick reversal on this, like here and like here and like everywhere else it showed up, and we never really had one. And we got this gap up, and I took it off on the gap up. I was still underneath my original price, but now it's pushed back up a little bit further, and you know, it didn't give us, you know, there was a chance of not getting that big reversal candle, and you know, there's always that chance. I was just looking for it because it makes it so much easier to recognize a good reversal and the volume and stuff. We didn't have all the pieces to put together. There was a little volume coming in. Volume definitely picked up some, which I think was positive. And we had some follow-through volume, and today's, you know, whatever. And it still looks pretty good, but I'm out of it now. Love the Google setup here, GOOG. I think, you know, new highs coming along next week. So I'm going to actually look at the options on this for next week. We'll kind of, I mean, 850 is not a problem. I mean, how far do you want to go out? We'll look at these, and we'll look at the prices. Uh-oh. Pennsylvania. I have no idea. Here we are, a perfect example of a triple stochastic flag setup. Textbook. And we're long. So we're up another point on this. Now you could take that $50 bill per contract and just, you know, and wait for the next good HPS setup. That's what I would recommend. You always take the money on the setup. This actually is saying it's still okay to hold on to it. I would. Hindsight is so great, but this is not hindsight. This is foresight. But what I say is it's telling us it's still okay is that the stochastics haven't rotated back up above 80 yet. But if we do, then you have another decision to make. Do you continue to trust, you know, the news to push this higher, or do you just take you take the chance that the rotation's there, and if it was going to move, it should have moved already. So, you know, do you take that profit right now? I would. I'll probably end up taking it on the rotation if we get the rotation. Might have already had our opportunity. All right, now we have Russian planes here. Breaking news: Russian military planes fly by Alaska for a fourth straight night in a row, or fourth night in a row. That's what is going on here. Trump says his massive tax plan is coming next week. Next week. Here we go. Still holding here. I bet you're wondering right now. And I always do this too. I said, well, news out there, why isn't it moving higher? What are they waiting for? And if it's not moving higher, that means the market has absorbed the news and it's not a big thing. And if it's not a big thing, then it's got to be a bad thing. So you start to question these things. But over time and time again, you'll see the indicators play out to the upside, even if it's a slow grind higher. All right, well, even looking at the tradeometer right now, it's just flatlining. Flatlining. But look at that 60 period there. Very strong. Nice rotation back. That was a flag. That actually popped out of there. That was good. This flag set up right here. We moved up off of that. Now we're actually still embedded, coming back down again. But, just again, marking on holding pattern. Excuse me. Also, let's take a look at this. There's a little trend line here too. Now we have the highs here, and we have the highs here, and then look at that. That's actually a very nice, better trend line than. I mean, the 1, 2, 3 channel worked out fine, and then moved up to the next trend line, which is perfect. That's a really interesting trend line right there. It goes from the highs, and take a look at where we just kind of, I think we just tagged it, right? We tagged it to the penny again, to the tick. All right, so we're going to zoom out here, take this trend line, parallel, make a parallel line here, and drop it to the lowest trend line. Oh well, sometimes we want to see if this was a flush on news, and it was. So if we identify news that came into the market and kind of flushed the market down, then we tend to use the pivot and let it go through the flush. It's just a kind of a news thing, because as you notice here, this is really good stuff here. If you notice, once we put that parallel trend line on this pivot, the right pivot, even though we flushed down through it, we came back and we held on to it. I said that trend line that always gets flushed out we tend to come back into it, retest it, and then off to the races. And then we went right back up to the top trend line. So right now, this blue line here is really key. We're inside this. We can almost even get rid of this one, just not to confuse you. But you see how this all comes together and how important that original trend line is. 1 pivot, 2 pivot, 3 pivot. All right? Don't worry about if it goes through it. Worry about, because it's normally going to come back into it and then retest it. You hear me say it all the time. So now just another great example right here. This still looks like a flag to me. Again, this news is interesting out there.
Rambot 1 minute buy signal.
And we just had a 1 minute buy signal happening also. Here we go. Let's continue to hold on to this one, but let's also just take a look at some other trades or other stocks that we're in or liking here, because this market about to pop here.
ES Tradeometer overbought.
So ES Tradeometer overbought. Still embedded. And it doesn't stay embedded too long. But again, this is a news related. And we'd like to take a look down here. We're right on that trend line again. So this is an area where you have to make a decision. You take that $50 that you have, 62, another $50, make $100 and just walk away. Or do you gamble and let it ride? The smart move here, you got a rotation back up. Just about ready to rotate back up. I love the news here. I love the news. I think the news is good, but you got to take profits. You gotta take profits when you have them like this.
Order filled.
I'm going to take that right off there, right off of that trend line. And now we'll give it the Rockstar effect. Rockstar effect is normally when I get out, the market explodes higher. But that's the difficult thing, right there. Right there, we're up of 87.50 on the day, 2 trades, and it's just like, could we have left a lot on the table here? Do you second guess yourself? No, because you're doing it right. You have a methodology. You can make you might make $100, you might make $10, you might make $500. What the market's going to give you. It's going to give you these setups, and you got to take them, but you have to also take them off. In this case, yeah, I think the news is good. I won't even talk about it anymore. I'm going to be pissed off soon. Our APD here is moving. See my profits moving up on that.
High tick alert.
The high tick alert here is usually our push-ups. So if you actually listen to this, during the day, if we get a high tick alert, we do push-ups. I would do push-ups with you right now. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think so. I just have a big burrito in my stomach. But we had a high tick alert. That's very bullish with the VWAP up here. But we have a nice high tick alert. There's another point to the upside, another point to the upside. Yeah, I took it off a little early. Doesn't make me a bad trader. Like I said, you will have these situations where there's news and it really drives the market. And it's your decision if you're going to stick to the methodology or believe in the news and just let it, roll the dice and say, all right, I'm going to let this news bring me higher. Because you know what? Things go so slow these days with the news disseminating or making its way through the market. It's almost like normally you would get a 20-point pop on that type of news. I mean, just yesterday I was reading an article. Most pollsters and analysts thought that this tax bill was going to be pushed back to 2018. He comes out with saying, I want to do our massive tax thing. It's going to be released next week. I mean, that's a huge difference. And the market here gets a little pop here, 44 to 48. 4-point pop. This seems deserving a 10-point pop at least. So we see a little pullback, and now we start to see the market kind of react. And you just wonder if it's just because of the lack of, lack of human traders out there. Need that emotional people jumping on this. Well, the one good thing here is that you got to see good examples of the triple stochastic flag setup and why we thought the market was going to break out here. Everything worked out for you. At least worked out good for me. And again, I'm going to add this part of the video tonight, but I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to shut off this part and go back to another one. I was recording this on a different platform. All right, I wanted to jump in here and show you something real fast. And again, a lot of news going into the last hour of the trade. I just saw a divergence here. So I took a position here. I just turned on the screen again, and you can see the. Let's see if I can draw this out here. That lower low. Right there, and then that higher low here. Actually, I had to clip on this again here. Sorry about that. Come on. Anyway, I'm still messing with the platform here. There's a 14.3 and a 9.3, and I don't know what I just did to this. That's weird. Oh, I superimposed them. All right, well, that's interesting in itself. You can do that. Anyway, this is the traded divergence. And what normally you would do on this divergence trade, you see that this lower low on the price, you would get in here. I just walked over to the computer and noticed it, so I took an entry right here. And you would normally put your stop right underneath the candlestick here. So we're going to put a sell limit, a sell stop here. 44. We'll just put it down.
Order pending.
I might have to move that down just a little. I think we're going to get, we'll take this off with a little profit. The divergence also gives us a better opportunity to follow this channel that's developing. So now we have a kind of a trend line up above us, a little trend line below us. But I watched that trend line up above us. There's a tighter trend line, I think, down here. So I'd like to get something going on this just to kind of close out the day. Still got a lot of research to do. And like I said, those divergence trades end up being pretty great little, depending on how fast you want to get that rotation. Here's that 14.3 rotation. We're watching that 80 line, seeing where the price is at that point. All right, we're going to see if we actually move up a little bit further. Are we going to pull back? Are we going to fail to make this? The divergence usually has a little longer move in it. So we'll also want to take a look at that 5-minute time frame. Remember, we always want to take a look at that 5-minute time frame. Still got to look at Google. And the 5-minute, all right, so what do we see here? We had a nice 5-minute channel. The news came out on Trump. We pushed higher. Now we pulled back to the scene of the crime, which is actually a nice, not a bad support line, and a trend line retracement. 5 minutes just about oversold. Not quite, but almost. And I would rather, of course, stick to the criteria. We look at 20 as our major line here. We haven't gotten down under that 20 line, either on the fast or on the 9.3 or the 14.3. But the divergence is there. You could probably see it on the 1 minute here. You can see it slightly on the 1 minute here. On the cash, you could definitely see it on the 9.3. The 9.3 has a holding above the 20. This one is actually dropped under the 20. It's a definite divergence, but it's not holding above that 20 line, which is interesting. How do I move this back? Oh my God. Stochastics. How do I move this? I guess I can move it. All right, hold on. I don't know how I did that. Here we are. I went back to it. I don't know how. What did I do? Damn, that's funny. So that 9.3 rotated fast. The 14.3 did not. We didn't have a full stochastic, a pure one where we hold above the 20. But we did have the 9.3. So see a little pullback now. AAP, Advanced Auto Parts, still pushing a little bit higher. And again, like I said, just waiting on some news. I wouldn't have, for those, I see a lot of people signing off for the day as we get closer to the close here. So I hope everyone has a good weekend. Don't forget, I'll see you on Sunday evening at one point just to touch base with the market and see what's going on here. There we go. Come on, let's just get this in positive territory. I'd rather be out and work on my watch list. All right. The divergence here, almost oversold on that. All right, and now we're approached that 14.3 oversold 14.3 level. Now this is normally where you would just say, all right, I don't have much. Maybe I have a $12 loss. Maybe it's break even. Maybe I'm up $12. It doesn't matter. Once we get overextended on this, I would be a little bit more cautious and look for that pullback. And this is where it becomes a little bit tougher for traders to just take that off. Just take that off or go with your hedge. Take one fast look at the 5 minute. I should take that off right now, but I want to take one last look at that 5 minute time frame. And again, we're not oversold 100%. We started to kind of gain a little, just a little stabilization there. But that's it, nothing. So I would practice what I preach here. I'm going to close this out.
Order filled.
So. So we're still up for the day, though. Then again, that's how it is, especially on a Friday. When I get to do these videos, it's a little bit more difficult. This also starting to look more bearish in the way we look at the lower stochastic. If we look at this down here, take a look at this. You have this little flag here playing out, and you can see the slow stochastics. Even though they're above 20, they're pretty much embedded down here in that 24 level, and we kind of got a slow rotation here on that fast. So it ends up looking like a little flag, potential little flag there. Not interested in it at this point. I think it's just too volatile in the last half an hour of the Friday. All right, I'm going to switch over here.